dear. Good morning. I think we've been together since the very beginning, so it's always a pleasure to be back at Dream. But it's also important to have a refresh and understand a little bit more about the details of what we can do. Any updates? So I brought a few updates for you, so you know what else MoneyCorp can do for your clients. And obviously, I'm going to focus on the Brazilian market. However, just bear in mind that we do over 45 currencies. So if you ever have a client from the UK, Europe, Canadians, we are able to convert their currency as well in a much easier way than what we are used to see. Um, but basically, for those who haven't had the opportunity to see exactly what we do, we are a foreign exchange provider. So basically, MoneyCorp buy and sell currency on behalf of our clients. And we are actually originally from the UK, which is where our headquarters are. And we have an office here in the United States. Here in the US, we also have a team specialized in the Brazilian market. We are now um, five members of the team, purely focusing on helping those Brazilian investors to bring money here, or whenever they are ready to sell as well, we are happy to do and to assist with that. So what I'm going to speak about today is a little bit about foreign exchange risks. I'm sure that the majority of you already know how the whole world of foreign exchange works, but it's also a very good information for you to have and be able to educate your clients whenever you need. I also brought a little bit of a cost comparison so you understand, Money Corp versus other foreign exchange providers of other banks. The specifics about Brazil. Then I'll do a brief introduction to Money Corp, the benefits that we offer to the clients and also to you as a partner, and then we can open up for questions. So I like to start this presentation just to bring a little bit of a view here on the chart about the currency fluctuation. So this is what happened to the real in the last year. So this is what this is the information that all of us know. We know that the currency fluctuates throughout the year. So it's a very common knowledge to know about this graphic here. My favorite graphic though is this one. This is the currency fluctuation in one day. So the reason why I bring this graphic to your attention is because the majority of our clients, or common knowledge, in general, they believe that whenever they call Money Corp, they say, "What is the rate today?" And that's a tricky question sometimes because the rate fluctuates more than 20 times a day. So if our client calls Money Corp in the morning and then he calls his bank in the afternoon, they're not necessarily comparing the same thing. So it's important to see that how much this is can fluctuate throughout the day. So if this here is actually Friday of last week, so you can see that was steady in the morning, but we had some peaks here. Look at that, it was above 250 um, around probably 3 p.m. and then it dropped fantastically at the end of the day. So the majority of our clients were booking the deals here. So that's a little bit of our job too. We wanted to monitor the market to make sure your clients get the best rate at the best time. So it's not only the possibility of transferring those funds to here, it's also the ability as a specialist to be able to help your clients to save as much money as they possibly can. And now, how does this affect your client? So how does all these fluctuations affect? So this is also pretty common information. September 7th of this year, the exchange rate was about 2.22. So for a $200,000 property purchase, it was costing to your client 444,000 reais. Last week, unfortunately, to our clients' disadvantage at this point, the rate is at 2.48. So for the same house of $200,000, it's costing them $52,000 more. So that's how the currency exchange it affects all of our international clients. Reais, thank you. Um, the most important information that you can have, and that's the information that MoneyCorp continuously educate and tell our clients, it's what we call as specialists of hidden costs of the transaction. So usually, again, when a client call MoneyCorp, the first question they have is like, what is the cost to transfer those funds? Usually, if they call a bank and they say, what is the cost that I have to transfer funds? The bank most likely will give him the transfer fee cost. So they're going to say it's $35, $50, 300 reais. But that's not the actual cost of the transaction. The actual cost of the transaction is on what we call a spread that is added onto the commercial rate of exchange. So if you understand a little bit better, we have the interbank. That's the interbank on Friday, 2.48. So that's supply and demand. What is the market currently trading? When a client wants to book a transaction, any financial institution, is Money Corp, Novo Mundo, or partners in Brazil, a bank, they're going to add a margin onto this rate. This is actually where our revenue is. Okay? The real difference for your client is what kind of margin it's being added from money, either it's from Money Corp and or their banks, and that's the actual cost of their transaction. So to illustrate for you guys so you can understand better, this is actually on the same time. Okay, so that's a comparison done in the specific time of the day. So when the interbank, that's what we call, it was 2.48. That was a foreign exchange provider, number one, that was quoting our clients or your clients at 2.60. So again, for $200,000, it would cost them 520,000 reais plus a transfer fee of $250. So that was the total cost that ended up being for that client. And a bank, also a bank in Brazil, was quoting the client at 2.57, so a little bit better. So again, for $200,000, it would be a difference of 6,000 reais, just from one foreign exchange provider compared to another. Money Corp and Novo Mundo, because we work as a partnership, was quoting when the rate was that point at about 2.52 for a client. So again, if you compare the scenario of Money Corp to the first provider, we are talking about savings of about 16,000 reais. So it's huge savings for your clients. This is actually the true information that you can share with your client, as a specialist at Money Corp when speak with the client, because there's no costs or obligations to use our company. We always tell the clients to compare. That's the best tool they can have. So it's normal for clients, especially clients from Brazil, they already have a fantastic relationship with their banks and their bank managers. So MoneyCorp is here to being offered as an extra tool. Why not compare if you have the option to compare with an extra provider? And then you can make a very safe decision into which company or each provider is giving you the best price. But that's really what we sell. I mean, that's really what MoneyCorp is all about. We have other services, but the main theme of MoneyCorp is to be able to save our clients funds on the currency exchange. Brazil specifics, a majority of you already know, everything is controlled by Central Bank of Brazil. So in order for us to be able to, or to have the authorization to take those funds out of the country, we need to follow central bank guidelines. And that means that we need specific documentation from the client. Basically, we need to prove source of funds. Okay, so that's the key to be able to give that clients the feedback that they need. A little bit of difference in service when you compare MoneyCorp to other providers is basically because we have a team of specialists. So we're not following a specific list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, documents inside a box. We are there to help to understand the actual scenario of the client and to obviously offer many options and solutions so that we can document, we can prove the source of those funds. Okay, so it's one thing that we try to do at Money Corp. I know sometimes a few of our partners want to understand more, so they want to in a way, try to identify the client source of funds before sending the clients over to us. The reason why we recommend that we speak with them is because based on that conversation, we can understand so much more about the client's uh, total scenario in Brazil. So what we don't want is that the clients that to give up of using MoneyCorp because they believe they are not going to be able to prove source of funds, which happens sometimes. And they're going to be surprised when they speak with us and we offer so many options for them to be able to legally get the money out of Brazil. Another information that I always put here, it's who is buying versus who declares funds on taxes. This is very important for clients that are financing, which is the grand majority now of our Brazilian clients. They're putting 35% down and financing the rest. When they are financing, obviously they're going to have to prove the source of those funds for the down payment. And then clients, sometimes they don't know. So they have everything under the wife's name and they are financing under the husband's name. And then later on the process, we find out that the actual source is under the husband's name. And that could just delay the process of approving. We have to get the track of those funds from the same name from start to end. So that's really what, again, when MoneyCorp can come and help. For example, here with Dream Team, we work very close with Desiree, so we work all from the beginning together to make sure that the from zero, from A to Z, we're following the same process. But if you're not sure, please just give us a call. We can, sometimes it's still very important that the house stays in the wife's name, but we have tools to make sure that from Brazil we can take those monies also from the wife's name, regardless of who is declaring the money. But we need to know beforehand. So that's why I like to add that point there as well. Brazilian taxes is IOF. I also put here, which is 0.38%. In the beginning of the year, our clients were surprised by the government when there was a change on IOF for debit cards when withdrawn funds from here, which changed from 0.38 to 6.38. So just to make 100% clear here, for any transfer of bank to bank or commercial rate of exchange, this is what we do. The IOF is 0.38%. So if there's any other information being given to your clients in regards to this number, this is the correct number that's charged by the government in Brazil, and it shouldn't be anything else. Okay. Money Corp, we have actually, it's a company that has over 30 years of specialty in this market. We work for both sides, private clients with what we see here, those investors buying properties or immigrating here, but also we work with many divisions of corporate needs. Again, we are originally from the UK, so that's our headquarters are. This is actually a picture from Money Corp and the Heathrow Airport. So we are all over the airports in the UK. We are obviously licensed and authorized to do what we do, which is provision of payment services. Last year, we had over 2.5 million clients that we were helping transferring funds, which is about $15 billion that we traded last year. So it's a very stable company, which is important for your clients to know as well, because obviously, when you give the information about Money Corp, because you're not a Brazilian company yet, they tend to ask, about security, about stability. Obviously, they're life savings that we are talking about. So just so you know, it's a very stable company. We've been doing this for a while, and we are the current leaders in the UK. So it's important for them to know how strong our company is. Money Corp service to Brazilian clients. Obviously, the first step that I've been speaking is education and guidance. It's interesting to see that the majority of our clients, they don't know how central bank works. They are not aware of all those rules, how source of funds are documented. So that's why our team is there. And that's for you guys too. So we are able to explain them how it works, explain them what is going to be expected from them. And obviously from that point, they can compare Money Corp to any other institution. So that's the best information your clients can have, which is, obviously one of the steps to buy a property here. Obviously, competitive rate of exchange. That's what, as I mentioned, that's what we actually really offer to our clients. Risk management services, best rate at the best time. So basically, as I said, we try on the best ability possible. Obviously, because Brazil it's just it's a manual process. However, our team there try to book that deal on the best time for our client. So I'll give an example. Today, let's say that we are booking the rate at 2.50. And the client comes to us and says, okay, I have 90 days until my closing because my house is still being built. Honestly, I'm looking to have at least 245, otherwise it's going to be too expensive for me. So as long as the client's already approved with Money Corp, our specialists are going to try to monitor the market for them. So whenever reach 2.45, we're going to call them and say, Mr. Smith, today it's in a good time, perhaps from your budget, what you mentioned to us, would you like to go ahead and book? And this is very proactive service. Usually in the banks, they have to call all the time and ask for the rates. Then they have to monitor themselves. We can do that for them as well. Bank account in the US versus Money Corp payments account, which is one of my favorite information at the moment. A lot of you is aware, a lot of our clients, dream clients, is already using a lot of those services. But just so you know, one thing that's unique in this market, and only Money Corp can offer to Brazilian clients, is what we call Money Corp payments account. So basically, every single client of Money Corp has automatically a Money Corp payments account internationally. So this is account. Basically, I'll give an example how the clients use this. They want to buy a house of $300,000. Obviously, they're going to have to uh, furniture the house. They're going to have to pay the interior design. They have the property management. Perhaps they are opening an LLC, so they have fees. Anything that's involved with this house, which is going to go sometimes over the $300,000 purchase price. So what the client can do with Money Corp, they can book all of this currency all together, or they can book installments, whatever they wish. The funds go first to their Money Corp account. And once the funds are in their Money Corp account, we pretty much work as their bank manager in Brazil. So they come to our team and says, okay, Money Corp, I'd like for you to transfer 200,000 to the title company. 30,000 I want you to send it to my interior design. 10,000 I need to pay for the down payment on the I need to send to the financing bank. You name it. So any transfers that they need internationally, we are able to do at Money Corp with no extra costs. So why is this is so important? As you know, I mean, in the banks in Brazil, and this is actually a regulation of central bank, obviously. So basically, for someone to be able to transfer funds out of Brazil, they need to document what we call the reason for the trade. Okay, so if they're going to their bank is going to ask, why are you transferring money? If they need to pay the title company directly, you're going to have to document the purchase price. Some banks ask for the document to be notarized. You know, there's many interesting requests from other institutions about that. Or, which is the easiest way, the client can transfer money to their bank account. You know, so that's why so many of our specialists already request that the client opens a US bank account as early as possible or as soon as they get here to just facilitate everything. Um, the issue of transferring money directly to their bank account once that is open is because due to the Patriotic Act, sometimes they can move this money if they are no longer in the United States. So your client is here, open a bank account, you transfer all the funds to the bank account because it was easier to them to do that, and then the client goes back to Brazil. So depending on which bank, you might not be able, or they might not be able to move this money if they're not here. So that's where Money Corp really can save the day. We can move the money or whatever account they need as long as it's connected to this real estate transaction by only receiving a form where they, in a way, authorize us to transfer those funds to this specific account. And then we just give them a quick call to confirm just due to their protection. So basically, they don't need to be present at Money Corp to do that. And this has been a fantastic, we've been having a fantastic feedback from our clients, which is because we are able to do that. So remember that when you are dealing with any client that's using Money Corp, they can leave the funds in their Money Corp account for up to 90 days. So if they're still planning to come, we can get everything sorted. We can, for example, right now we have so many clients that are a little bit worried about the market and it's going to get a little bit worse due to everything that's happening. So they want to guarantee the current exchange as what it is now. They can it's going down. There we go. So they're going to some of them prefer to book right now. So they wanted to book, leave a Money Corp account, and then later on, whenever they have the title, the wire instructions, whenever they open their bank account, when they come here, they can do that. We can help from that point. Okay. It's very simple to work with us. They open an account which is free, no obligation. So basically, we speak with your client, we collect the documents, everything by email. We make sure that they are approved. Then they're going to speak with a specialist, which is going to quote them on a currency exchange, which is done by Novo Mundo in Brazil. They give all the support they need, and once they transfer those funds, they book the trade over the telephone, and then once those funds are transferred, Money Corp here in Florida takes care of everything. You have a question? From Money Corp, yes. So Humberto's question was if Novo Mundo was the only provider in Brazil. Yes, Novo Mundo is our exclusive partner in Brazil that does take care of everything that we do. So just so you understand why, um, before Money Corp decided to have a partner in Brazil who could be licensed, obviously, but also support the demand that we have for Brazilian investors, we had to do a huge research on who would be the best provider. Obviously, Money Corp's reputation is on stake. I mean, the security of our clients' funds. So it was based on a very detailed research for us in order for us to decide which one is. And it's fantastic because it's a company that has a fantastic reputation inside Brazilian territory. And so answer to your question, yes, Novo Mundo is the one who represents us in Brazil. Yes, Renato. Oh, yes. Okay. So the question of Renato is how does it work, the connection between Money Corp and Novo Mundo from a client's point of view? So this is the client's journey. Number one, he's going to speak with Florida. Okay, we are the ones that has the knowledge of understanding the scenario. They're going to submit the documents we require to our team in Florida. We are going to approve from a compliance point of view. So we have our compliance team in the UK and in Brazil. So we have everything sorted. We have then the green light, now the authorization for those clients to start booking the trade. Once this is done, we then introduce the client to one of the specialists of Novo Mundo. So we tell them this specialist from Novo Mundo is the one that's going to be taking care of you from this point because they are the ones who booked the deal. Once the client decides to buy the currency, Novo Mundo not only is going to book the deal, but we are going to give them four options, four banking options for them to do a transfer in Brazil. So they get the total amount of reais that cost them to buy that certain amount of dollars. We give them a bank account detail in Brazil, and they do a transfer from their Brazilian bank to our Brazilian bank. At that point, we convert the currency as agreed under contract, and the funds are going to go first to their Money Corp payments account. And from that account that they have with us, then they can instruct us to where they wanted to distribute those funds. The time is 2 business days for the funds to be available from the point they book the deal. And then once if we already have the instructions, which is another question too. So let's say, for instance, the client already know which wire instructions they need to pay. So if you already have the instructions, the funds are paid on exactly the same time. So it's 2 business days until 1 p.m. on the second business days, the funds have been transferred to the title company. If we don't have it yet, then it's going to be available at their Money Corp account. And whenever they have those instructions, they pass it to us. And as long as we receive the instructions on the previous night, the transfer is done on the following morning. Okay, if we get the instructions on the same day and it's after 9 a.m., then the payment's going to be done on the next business day. Okay, go ahead. Correct. So in Brazil, it's a great question. So Renato asking how does it what's the name of the transfer in Brazil? There are two types of transfers. We call TED, TED, and then we call DOC as well. DOCs are usually for small amounts. Um, exactly. So DOC is a smaller amount. So whenever a client is only transferring 5,000 reais, then the bank is gonna give them the option to do a DOC. A DOC usually is gonna be only available the next day. In some cases, we can see in our account clearing on the same day, but if it's a small amount, usually it clears on the next day. TED, which goes for Transferência Eletrônica Direta, it's the main name or what our clients usually do because we are talking about commercial amounts, and that's clear on the same day. So what we do in Brazil is what we call a spot contract. It's not a forward contract. So spot contract means we are converting the currency today to receive the payment today. So basically, when we convert the rate with the clients over the phone, we are already expecting those reais to be paid to our account today. So that way we can run the process through the central bank systems and make sure that the 2 business days it's in place. What the client do is they go back to their banks. Some of them have to go in the bank personally, but they request a wire, what we call in Brazil TED, and then TED is clear. Sometimes in 30 minutes we can see in our account. It's much faster than our systems here, So then it's very efficient in Brazil. Um, but we also, I mean, if it's very close to the end of the day, we request the client only to send us the TED paper, the proof of transfer, so we don't delay anything, and then we can run the same day. Raquel? Correct. So Money Corp holds the funds for. Okay, so basically we put a 90 days as a rule so the client understands that in order for them to use Money Corp, they have to have a reason for the transfer because Money Corp can speculate on the market. Okay, so that's purely because of that. So basically we cannot have a client that wants to buy currency purely because they believe they're going to make money when they convert back. Okay, they need to have a reason. They are buying a property, they are immigrating, they are opening a company. As long as they have a reason, they can use our services. Okay, now there is no rule when it comes to if it passes 90 days, the money is going to bounce back. or they have to tell us or anything like that. It's even more, it's more for us to keep a control over funds that we have on our account to make sure they have a destination. So to answer your question, if a client needs to postpone that date because they were planning to have in 90 days, but something came up, that's absolutely no problem. They just need to let us know. MoneyCorp, I'm going to need an extra 60 days because I had to delay my flight and have an issue. I had an issue at home. Absolutely, that's their account. They can leave the funds there with no problem, and the funds are secure. Okay, so we put that 90 days just so they don't leave the funds there, and they start. Then in 3 years they convert back, and it looks like they're speculating in the market. And due to our license, we need to make sure they are not. Okay, go ahead, Hinad. Another great question. So the question, Renat, is what happens when the client needs to transfer the money back? We can do that as well. And we've been doing that for a little while. Usually we require the client to have a destination again. So um, ideally, we wanted the client to, even if they have a bank account here, to go ahead and transfer those funds to their bank account. If the funds are already transferred to their bank account or any other account that we transferred before, um, what we need to do, number one, we need to approve again with compliance. Okay, so just so you understand, basically, if we are sending the same amount of money back and we are in the same fiscal year, absolutely fine for them to repatriate their funds. So what we do is we give them our US dollar bank account details. They wire their US dollars back to MoneyCorp. We convert back to reais and pay their bank account in Brazil. Same process. This is more for the question for Renata is if they have to pay taxes in Brazil. We always tell them to speak with a specialist in regards to tributation when it comes to paying taxes. What I can tell you is that they're not going to pay taxes on the currency exchange. Okay, so there is no obligations from our point of view for us to prove that the client's paying any type of taxes collections before being able to repatriate those funds back. I only say that because depending on the type of scenario, they have to prove with us. So, for example, if a client is foreign national, okay, I'm going to go completely in the other side, but if the client's a foreign national and they are selling a property in Brazil, they don't file taxes in Brazil, okay, and they need to take the money out of Brazil. In order for me to take that money out, I need to prove they pay capital gains. So there are scenarios where we're going to have to get that information. For repatriation purposes, we don't have they don't have to pay taxes. We're going to send directly the money there. Yes. So basically, usually you pay taxes only if there's capital gains. So if you're sending more money to Brazil than what you got it back, you could potentially have to pay taxes. But then again, I would just recommend them to speak with their accountants in Brazil. Okay. Now, just to complete your question, Renato, if let's say a client has funds in a Money Corp account, okay, something happened that they can no longer move forward, they want to transfer the money back. No problem at all. Okay, we're gonna book the deal again, so we have to convert the money back to reais, and then we send the reais back in 2 business days. The reais are back in their account. The only disadvantage for the client is that if the rate went against them, so obviously they may lose money on the conversion back. But today, for example, if a client converted in April or September, and they are now nothing worked and they're now converting back, they actually will be in a good position to get the money back because it's more money for them. Okay. Money Corp service to our partners. I'm sure all of you already is aware, but we do have this partnership program with Money Corp. Um, the event we have Sandy. Okay, guys. So you know, yeah. So you do have the paperwork. Okay, good. So basically, so you understand what it is. The goal of having this partnership program is to obviously provide the solutions to your clients, which we've been talking this morning. Um, and then we also have an account manager. So the benefits to your clients, obviously, a streamlined process, talking to someone who understands they're going to approve them fast, the less bureaucratic system as possible considering Brazil, giving them a much better rate and offer them a money core payments account. Those are the three main benefits to your client. But also there are benefits to you. So the number one is feedback. So our idea is to, if a client were to use a bank, it would be very hard for you to hear from the bank in regards to the client's transaction. So that's our job here. We want to work with you so you know exactly what's happening in your client's transaction. Have them being approved? Have they sent the documents? How much they've been authorized to get out of Brazil? when are the funds here, whatever it's important to you, so you have the closing. That's the job of our account manager. Um, and we have another support and assistant. For example, we have an iframe, what we call an iframe. So basically, it's a link that you can add to your web page. It has a conversion currency converter, so you can have a little bit of more information about your client. On that link, if the client clicks on that link, it's automatically registered with Money Corp. So that's new to you guys as well. We are waiting now for that iframe to be translated into Portuguese. However, if your web page already has this facility, we can absolutely create one specific to you. Um, yeah, it's been very useful. Also, uh, we pay referral fees. Okay, so 15%, 1/5 of the gross profit that Money Corp does on your client's transfers is paid directly to the partner who registered the clients first. Okay, so it works very well. Exactly. The only thing that I always mention to our partners kindly is to just please make sure you register your clients as early as possible. As you know, the client may be working with various different professionals in Florida, and MoneyCorp is well known of doing currency, so you want to make sure that you get paid if that's your client. So as long as you register first, then the referral fees goes to you. Okay? Go ahead. Sure. Okay. Okay. So the question of Renato is how, when we have more than one family member or colleague working together, if we need to send the money from one person or we have to do 50-50, correct? It really depends who we approved. So who is the person we got? We collected documents. We will never be able to receive funds from someone we haven't collected documents. Okay, so i- let's say that a husband and wife. Okay, I'm just gonna make it simple. If we approve everything under the husband's tax returns and we have the ID from the husband, and everything else, only we can only receive funds from the husband's account unless the account is a joint account. So that would be no problem. Now, if he decides to get the money from the wife's account, then we need to approve the wife. Okay, so what we try to do in Money Corp is be as fair as possibly can. So obviously, if we're working with the husband here, and now the wife is going to be transferring funds, obviously we register the wife under the same partner because that's how they end up getting to know Money Corp. Okay. However, that's no way for us to know if later on the wife shows up and another partner introduced and we can pull it up by the system. So just make sure that uh, because we work so well together, there's never an issue with that. But answering to a question, if you have a husband and he needs to transfer the wife, that would be considered two accounts. And as long as we know, we register under the same partner. Okay. All right. So if the client reached their limit, they need to send more money. Okay. So that's when MoneyCorp acts again to find out what are any if there is any other possibilities for them to increase the amount they want to transfer. And again, comes out to our specialists. There are many options. It's how far we get into the year. Obviously, the tax returns we are using is from December 2013, so we have almost an entire year of new source of funds for that particular client. So we just need to understand the majority of our clients today are business owners. So there's always, sometimes it's the business who is holding the assets of the company. There's no problem for us to transfer those assets to a pessoa física, to a private client. So we are going to talk to him, understand, did you sell a house? Did you sell a car? Did you sell your motorbike, motorcycle? Whatever it is that you sold, we can document the sale, and that becomes their source of funds. We're going to ask about the wife as well, because in Brazil, different from us here, there's no jointly, it's rare when a client files jointly the taxes. So that's a possibility that the wife has another bulk of funds that they can bring. So that's what we do constantly at Money Corp. Okay. Another uh, great information I want to share with all of you, and I haven't been able to share with Dream yet, so I was waiting for my visit. We now have something we call Partner Portal for all of our partners at Money Corp. So basically, you can go online, you have your username and password, you go online and you check every single lead you have been registered with Money Corp, which leads, we call leads every client that's not yet send the documents. Okay, so if you send a contact detail and we haven't been able to get those documents yet, we call a lead. So you can see leads, every client you register. You can see accounts, which are the ones that are already approved to transfer funds. You can see there, and obviously you can see your commissions, and you have all the statements for every single history of your life. So you know exactly how much commission came from every single client, and you can see all your pipeline. So Bruno, you asked me this day, and then I prepared to you. I don't know if you had the opportunity to go in. Yeah, correct. Yes. Okay, yeah, you have to choose. Yeah, I'll show you. You have to choose what information you want to see. So if you want to see, like for example, you ask me which clients of mine, if you allow me to say, which clients of mine are registered with Money Corp. So if you click on leads, you're gonna see all that list from starting. Since you became a partner, you can see every single lead there. Accounts are the ones approved. So if you want to find out if Money Corp has already been able to sort a particular client, you can see there. And obviously your commission. So everything that's been paid to you, it's always already paid. Okay, so for example, this month of October, you usually get paid on the 20th of the month. So you're going to see this month's information around the 20th of the month. That's going to show up. But I'm happy to show all of you how it looks. Good. Okay, great question. When should I register a client? Okay, as soon as possible. It's a great answer. Exactly. So basically, there are many ways. I mean, it's the way our partners prefer. Okay, so I can share with you a few profile of our partners. We have partners that register as soon as they have a name and an email. They only register. They're not asking Money Corp to introduce their services yet. They register first just to make sure it's safe, and then when time comes, then you can go ahead and say now I believe is the right time for Money Corp to talk to them. Then we're gonna ahead and talk to them. Um, or there are clients that are, from my personal point of view or a specialist, the best time for us to speak with them is the time that you know that the client's really seriously talking about finding a property, or perhaps he's arranging the trip to come and see. So when you see that client is ready for that moment, the best time for us to speak with them at that time. Ideally, if you speak with your client even before they are here, we can give you the feedback. Okay, this client can transfer $1 million if they want. So you have that information to go show properties for your clients, and be comfortable that we can guarantee those funds are going to be here in 2 business days. What happens sometimes that we leave the process to be done at the end. And unfortunately, you spend the entire day or entire week showing properties to your clients, and they want to buy a $350,000 property. Okay, and then you come to Money Corp and say, okay, next step is you speak with Money Corp. They speak with us, and then we realize they can only buy a $250,000 property. So can you imagine redoing our entire job of relooking into it, because we might be able to approve somehow the remaining 100,000, but it might take a little while. We might wait for the next month of their finances. There are many options. So why not get the feedback for your benefit when you're working? So the best time is really when you got the client ready. It's time for you to start organizing their trip, or if they're buying from overseas, not coming here. But if you feel that, that's the right time for MoneyCorp to get going. Okay. Oh, there you go. Client satisfied. I'm gonna repeat on the microphone. Yes. Very good. So I'm pleased because that's feedback what keeps us moving, and obviously my Money Corp. But that's what we are here for. I mean, we wanted to make sure the client is comfortable and confident and has the credibility they need. We are very responsible about our clients' funds. Obviously, we are liable for moving any funds overseas. So you can count with us, and your clients can too. And what you can see, though, we have so many clients that dream here. They're just, they pass by Money Corp and drink coffee, and they come and stay in their house because we build a very good relationship with them, and then they continue to use Money Corp. Every single client, that's another information for you that's good. Every single client that once they buy the property, everything went well, they got a good rate. Guess what? When they have to pay for any maintenance of this house, they are transferring the funds with MoneyCorp. And whoever registered that client continues to get paid. So, it could be 5 years down the road that your client decides to sell the house and unfortunately they decide to use another realtor. If they use MoneyCorp to repatriate those funds, you are gonna get referral fees because you were the one who introduced it. So it's a win-win situation for all of us, and it's always a pleasure to help all of you. So Partner Portal, it's for you now. So it's gonna be great now because I mean, every month I usually bring the spreadsheet to you guys so you can have that control and know what's going on. Now you can see for your own, which is gonna be a very good help for us. Okay. Very easy how it works. Become a partner. So for those who haven't sent me an agreement yet, it's okay. So I can add your name. All of you who hasn't sent yet, I have your name as a partner, and I'm already registering your clients under your name. The only thing is that the agreement is what allows us to pay referral fees. So what we do is until you pay that, you to give me the agreement with the instructions of where I have to pay, we keep holding your referral fees. But bear in mind, we can only hold for 90 days. So that's why you keep pushing for you guys to please send, because if it passes through that 90 days, it's just I can pay you on previous referral fees. So just make sure you do. But that's a form. Who doesn't have, let me know. I'm happy to send you as soon as I get back to the office. You get your it's one page details and bank details on where you would like us to pay your referral fees. Okay, so I'll get one to you as well. Then you introduce your clients to MoneyCorp. Again, you can introduce, make sure that they say that we can help. Register your clients with us. I put in red again to remember. Register your clients with us. Make sure you register. But once you do, then you receive all the benefits. It's just the feedback, which I own Raquel as soon as I get back to the office. Some feedback on your transfers, support, anything we can do from MoneyCorp as well, and obviously your referral fees. Any other questions, Paco? Go ahead. Great question. What are the top 5 countries MoneyCorp deals with? Okay, so right now we do. I'm gonna tell you about Florida. Okay, like what we see here in United States. Canadians. Okay, obviously Canadians. Canada. So we are just so close, I guess, on the border. Sometimes people forget that Canadians also have Canadian dollars, so they need conversion. Um, so then that's our one of our markets. Obviously UK, because that's where we are from. So it's we see so many Brits who continues to come here. Brazil. This is today a top our top business in Florida is Brazil. Okay, so that's the number 3 that we see there. And then I guess number 4 and 5 are, I'm just gonna put 4 and all together are Europeans. So I could put the French, and yeah, French are like I guess number 4. But what we hear from the office, and then right behind them the Germans. Okay. Another information that I want to share with you guys, if you allow, because I know that's we've been going. Last week I've been nominated the head of Latin America now for Money Corp. Yes, thank you very much. So the reason why this information makes me smile so much, and that has been another push that I've been giving to MoneyCorp for the last 4 years, is because we know how fantastic Brazil is doing, but we need to go for Latin America. So we have so many other currencies we need to work on, and getting that green light from our executives and knowing that that's going to be our next step for 2015, going after Colombia, going after Peru, going after Chile, Venezuela, and Argentina. Let's just hope that the government allows us to be there. But if we can start developing the Latin America market, I know for Dream Properties, Go is also, Latin America is also involved. So it's great news for all of us. I'm sure you'll be sure that I'll keep you posted on any new step that we do go forward for Latin America. For now, we do Mexican pesos already. So if you ever work with any Mexicans, we can do that. Yes, we do. But we are gonna just go forward now, and I'm very excited to share that. Go ahead. Yo hablo español. Yo hablo español también. Entonces, si necesita, no hay de qué. Je ne parle plus. Il y a beaucoup de temps que je ne parle pas français. No, I'm just joking. I don't know how to speak French. No, we do have a French team, though, if you ever, we do have a French team that has nothing to do with us. But right now, the Brazil team, the majority of the members already speak Spanish. So for the beginning of our penetration in the Latin America market, we have the tools to do that. Obviously, we're going to be hiring Latin Americans to be in our team as soon as we have the green lights for those currencies, which I'll be able to keep you posted. But I'm excited because that's what we needed to. And soon enough, Money Corp is going to be able to help any client of yours. So that's the good news too. All right, any other questions? Thank you very much for your time this morning. Again, it's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to see how Dream has been growing and taking over. And we follow you guys since the very beginning. It's a pleasure to be your partner. So if you ever need anything, let me know. If there's any feedback you want to give me in regards to Money Corp or in regards to our team that's there helping your clients as we speak, please let me know. Your feedback is very important for us. And it's a pleasure to have you as a partner again. And we're going to make a lot of money in 2015 too.